A Malaysia Airlines flight with 239 people on board, including 4 Americans, has gone missing. Whether the disappearance is due to mechanical problems, pilot error, or even terrorism is yet to be determined.
Hey guys, welcome back. If you are new here, hi, my name is Shayna, and in my little corner of the internet we talk about spooky history of all kinds. If that sounds like something you're interested in, be sure to hit that subscribe button and notification bell because I am here for you on Wednesdays. Last week we talked about the Belmez faces and how they appear in concrete of a home in Spain. If you missed it, I'll be sure to link it up here for you. Today's video is kind of different, only because I'll be talking about an unsolved mystery that happened not that long ago. We usually talk about super old things, but this mystery is really interesting and wanted to share with you what I was able to find. So I'm gonna quit jabbing and let's talk about Flight MH370. Back on March 8th of 2014, a Boeing 777 plane left Kuala Lumpur and headed towards Beijing. It had 227 passengers as well as 12 flight crew on board. Now this was a very big plane and it seemingly disappeared into thin air. So we're going to talk about what we know, then we will dive into the crazy theories that are out there. Now no one officially knows what happened to this plane, but this is what we do know. The flight took off at 12:41 a.m. and was supposed to be in Beijing by 6:30 a.m. The last contact with the plane was either with the pilot or the co-pilot saying "Goodnight Malaysian 370." A few minutes after this response, the transponder on the plane was shut off. Then soon after that, the plane went west, which was way off course. Then none of the scheduled check-ins were completed. The last known location was over a body of water, and there was a massive search effort. They looked near Vietnam, south of China, and around Thailand, but nothing was found. I remember this being a super big deal when it did happen, but I always assumed it would eventually be found, or we would uncover some sort of evidence that would explain exactly what happened. But we know very little on exactly what happened. So let's talk about the many theories that are out there, and there are many. The first was that there was an issue on the plane and it caused the plane to explode. Now, on planes nowadays, there's a thing called a black box, and this box stays inside the plane and it works like a tracking system. Now, this box can work for up to 30 days after the plane goes down. These things are made to be able to withstand just about anything that's thrown at it, such as an explosion, and it can withstand being in water. So this theory isn't very popular. Some believe that the plane just landed in the ocean, but we should have been able to locate it by connecting with the black box, but we are not able to for some reason. Also, if it was in the water, you'd think we'd be able to see debris floating around, right? Things like seats, luggage, and all that kind of stuff that would float, but none of that has been found. Another theory suggests that the plane was shot down by a missile in a military operation. They believed it was a training exercise that went horribly wrong, but most think this couldn't have happened because there would have been a noticeable radar signature and it would have been visible to military and air traffic control. So it would have been kind of hard to keep secret, but you never know. Now, the ex-Prime Minister of Malaysia actually accused the CIA of knowing where the plane was. And honestly, it doesn't surprise me. Just kidding. I didn't mean it. Don't come for me. Not long after 9/11 happened 20 years ago, George Bush stated that they were working on a system that would allow military on the ground to be able to take control of an airplane that was in the sky and could drive it essentially while it was flying, just in case anything happened, such as a hijacking like what happened in 9/11. Allegedly, this plane had that specific technology in it, but that wasn't really confirmed. Now, some theorists believe that the plane landed safely on Diego Garcia. Now, Diego Garcia is a military base for the US, but the US embassy that is in Malaysia said that wasn't true. Apparently, a Russian newspaper claimed that it was a hijacking by Afghanistan, and the theory is that people were taken and landed somewhere. It suggests that the crew and passengers were being held captive, and that the plane was being hidden and will be used for some sort of terrible thing that's going to happen in the future. So there's that. A lot of people like that theory. Now, the next theory is one that's kind of out there, literally really far out there. And that is that the plane and everyone in it was plucked out of the sky by none other than aliens. So that's fun. Now the next theory isn't really a theory anymore, but I want to mention it because it was looked into, and that's suicide by pilot. This was eventually dismissed because they looked into the pilot and he was considered to be a really good pilot. He loved his job and was said to be really happy and had a wife and kids at home. There was no evidence of a potential suicide that was found. Now I'm not sure about the co-pilot. They only mention that the main pilot was not suicidal, but the co-pilot was young and he had just started working for the airline. So it kind of seems unlikely, you know? I'm sure he was looked into, but he's not considered a suspect in any way, so we're just gonna leave it at that. Now here's the most popular and most accepted theory, I guess you could say, and that's that there was a fire on the plane. Everyone on the plane would have gone unconscious within seconds due to smoke inhalation. And this could have been why no one responded to the check-ins, and that the fire just went out and the plane flew itself idly for a while until it eventually landed into the ocean. Now people believe this story because the plane would have hit the water at about 600 miles an hour, coming down from 35,000 feet. It would have glided down for maybe about 10 minutes, and the impact of hitting the water would have been like hitting concrete, and there would have been a massive explosion. Even the smaller parts that you'd think would have floated could have just been pushed down into the bottom, and that could be why we haven't seen any debris. But honestly, who knows? There was a press conference by the lead investigator on the case, and he explained that there was likely unlawful interference with the plane and it was turned around manually. He said the plane was not on autopilot, and the report also rules out mechanical failure. Now, all of the emergency locator transmitters malfunctioned, and there were 4 on the plane. But the investigator did not assign any blame, but he did say that there were several protocols that were not followed correctly by air traffic control in both Vietnam and Malaysia. Whoever was in charge of the air traffic control was not looking at their radar display enough. Because of these mistakes, the plane was missing for 20 minutes before anyone noticed it was even gone. Here's my question. I want to know how all 4 emergency transmitters could malfunction. There's 4 of them, right? So that would be in case one of them doesn't work, you still have the other 3, right? That makes sense? Just seems odd to me. Seems like too much of a coincidence. You know what I mean? Now when the plane turned, it did like a complete 180 almost, like it tried to. Kind of like they were trying to go back, but instead maybe got lost. But you'd think, like, don't planes have maps and stuff? Like, can't you figure out where you're at on the plane? I really don't know. I'm not a pilot. Like, I have no idea. But you'd think that if they did get lost, they would turn on their transponders so they could get help, right? Just seems like so many things went wrong at the perfect time. You know what I mean? And then there's this black box. Why in the world was it not working? Just craziness. Honestly, it seems like something fishy is going on. But honestly, things like this do happen, but it's just weird. Now, they did end up finding part of the plane back in 2015. They found the right wing flaperon of the plane in the Indian Ocean. Now, they weren't sure if it was part of the MH370 plane until 2017. That was when it was for sure discovered that this was part of that specific plane. So we now know that it did crash and it wasn't abducted by aliens. So I guess that's a relief. But I want to know what you guys think and which theory you believe more. Or if you have your own theory on what happened, let me know in the comments below. That's it for me today. I wanted to remind you that I'll be doing Halloween going on the week of Halloween, where I upload 1 video a day for a week. And I'm super excited and can't wait. I've been working on it for a couple weeks now. But that's it. I just hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I will see you all next week. Bye!